Hey folks, it's time for another look at one of those little Vim features. This one we're going to take a look at find, the actual command mode find, so if we can do a help on find as such. You can see right there it says find file in path and then edit it. So what is path? How can we use it to enable this command? And how can we sort of define it flexibly enough to make it useful? If you're in a situation where you have a static set of code that you work on all the time, you're never changing it, it's always the same project, day in, day out, I hope that you don't do anything horrible to yourself someday, because that could be terribly painful and annoying to do. So let's assume that you don't do that and you're working on different branches of code, and you have different projects you work on. You walk around files, you consult for people, you do all kinds of wonderful stuff. So we need to show you how to look things up in a slightly more intelligent manner. So let's start first of all with something simple. We'll say the path is going to be equal to something I downloaded a little while ago, the Omni Group set of libraries or frameworks for OS X. And I do say OS X. I don't know who ever says OS 10. Doesn't sound nearly as cool. So I want to search everywhere under here for files. So I'm going to add that double star. That double star tells Vim that I really want to look recursively down here. I don't want to list all the directories under here. That does not thrill me in the least. I want to just Vim, just look everywhere under here. So we're going to hit enter. And then I'm going to say :find, and I want to find a file called dtd.m. And there it is. Now, where is this? Well, whenever I enter a buffer, I set the current path. It provided it's a .m, .h, .cpp file, whatever. I set the current working directory to be the path to this file. So that's why it just says dtd down there in the left corner. So I'm actually in the users Quinn code Omni Group frameworks, OWF tests, and OWF web pounder. So you saw that I looked in actually code Omni Group ***. Well, of course, that got me into frameworks, OWF tests, OF web pounder. Okay, so we can also switch to the header file if you've got something like fswitch installed. So let's just toss these two out. The problem with that, of course, is it's very brittle. I'm just doing this manual setting. I mean, that's great if all I do is work on the Omni Group project all day. If I'm not doing that, then I need something a little smarter. And at work, I tend to set up something along the lines of this. This is a very simplified version. It's going to be tailored to your life if you end up doing this, so I don't really want to show you exactly what I have at work. I don't know why that disappeared. Sorry, touched the wrong thing. This is going to be along the lines of, you've got some specific stuff that you work on. How do you set the path? So essentially, I say here's the current name, or the current file name of my current buffer. I want to take the full path of it with :p. I want to take the head of that, which is going to be now the full directory to this file. And I'm going to use expand to expand that out. If you need to understand what expand is, you'll just say, you'll say help expand, and you'll hit enter, and there's help on expand. We then run an if, and basically if it's something I understand, if it's a project I understand and I'm working on, and it's a self-contained piece of code, then I will simply set the path equal to that thing, okay? And that's here. exe set path equal to the .codedir. Codedir being, of course, the coolest variable name in the history of the world. I really wish I picked something else. So just assume I made up something really cool there, and you said, wow, that is a great variable name. The reason we have to put this through exe, of course, is that when we do a setting, what's after the equal sign is going to be expected to be a string, no quotes or anything like that. It is just a literal string. So what set path equal to codedir is going to do, or insert excellent variable name here, is going to actually be literal. It's going to, the value of path is going to be codedir. So we need to evaluate it. You can read up on exe and whatnot. This is a very well-known technique if you use scripting languages like Perl, Ruby, Python, whatever. Eval is there. Even the shell, Bash has this, Corn Shell has this. And if I don't understand it, then I'm going to say, okay, well, then let's go to the default. And the default is that I do all my work in users Vim, the Wonderhorse code experimentation. That's where I do everything. So that's where we're going to set it. The trick now is to get it to run when I actually enter a CPP file, because that's what I'm interested in. And I just run the function when I do that. So if we source this, and that's how we source the current buffer, and then I actually edit, let's do, say, Boogie Nights, and I will do the dark tea time of the soul, CPP, and then we just say, what is the path equal to? Lo and behold, it's set to Boogie Nights, even though I already set it to the Omni group area. It did exactly what I wanted it to do. We can get much more complicated than this, of course. At work, I have a fairly complicated function that does this for me because I have certain branches that access other branches, and I have all kinds of weird stuff that goes on there. So I can get quite tailored in terms of how I set up the path. And of course, you can add lots of different things with commas to the path. You can actually add on to the path by saying it's this, and then it's plus equals, say, you know, other stuff or whatever, right? You can add on like that. It's a standard setting, so you can do a lot with it. And then when you get access to the function like this, you can do anything in a function. So you literally can set this path up as flexibly as you ever could dream of. Okay? So that's the find. That's the path. That's the way you do it. Have fun. Enjoy.